Well, nice to see you all and welcome. Um, I'd love to give a few minutes for. Okay, sure. And uh, I'd love to give a few minutes for people who may join a little bit late, but would love to begin before any practicality or something, by just allowing a small drop in, so we really learn together in this workshop. So just inviting you to breathe, find your posture where you feel relaxed. Mm, letting drop any expectations. Let's undress of any projection of what it will look like, what we will grab from it, but just start anew. Just begin on a fresh ground. Letting drop the tensions of the daily life, of whatever was before and will be after this journey. And just starting to be aware of three centers in our being. The crown, and feeling the caress of our eyes, the gaze down of our soul, sensing also, of course, the area of the heart, breathing deeply there, and also feeling our anchor, our earth plug, our base. So once again, welcome, and welcome to a few people that arrived lately. Yeah, this is the first in a series of various workshops, three workshops, and it will be about race. That's why you're here, right? And race and this formulation and terminology and theory about them have been in the teaching since Elena Blavatsky, so it's not a new thing, right? Yet we'll try to give a fresh look out of it, and not maybe going into the specific details. It won't be a teaching about race. It will be rather an exploration of how race just interact, are combined to form our personality today, how they cross our whole system in next week, and how also they cross the groups to give specific group formation and enable specific works. Uh, so a small analogy would be like I've been, you see the what's behind me. I'm in Provence, and you can imagine these beautiful monasteries where some of the Gregorian music has begun, and you know this kind of unitone, and it's beautiful, and with the echo of the cathedral or something. It's just beautiful and full of harmonics. Yet it is one note, sung by many voices. And that could be the feeling around, for example, an ashram of a specific ray. But our system extremely rarely is such a unitone figure. It's quite often a chord. It is harmonious. It is like polytone, and we will inquire about that. About practicality, we will work with an alternation of few meditation, visualization, and some inquiries, and we will explore together in small breakouts and larger circles. There will be at one moment a moment to shake a little bit our bodies according to specific ray flavors I found in specific music tones. And yes, still about practicality, I will try to hold really tight to these 2 hours because I tend to respect your timing. And so we will close in exactly 1 hour and 50 minutes at the maximum. I will also put in the discussion my email address. So this is an event which is on donation, which means you give if you want, what you want. And I just put my email if you want to do something through PayPal after the workshop. And if you don't, it's perfectly fine. So do how you feel. All right, let's begin. Um, I love you to invite to a kind of journey, and for me it is a similar journey as a mason beginning a house and choosing his tools, choosing his bricks, choosing straw or clay or whatever. It is the same kind of work as a musician choosing to work with a keyboard, with a bass, with a violin or whatever. It is the same work as a painter and choosing specific organic or beautiful colors to kind of impress the outside world with what's inside and have a kind of manifestation of this burning will, this burning purpose. So that's the idea behind the following visualization. I just invite you to close your eyes. Breathe deeply. And it happens that we are all in space. Precisely, we are just above the galaxy, the Milky Way, and it's beautiful. It's a spiral of 100 billions of suns orbiting the black hole. And we came closer to it, flying towards its center. We entered this kind of bulb of matter and stars orbiting really close to the black hole. And at a certain moment, we pass through it and we arrive in front of a massive black orb, the event horizon of the black hole, holding point for all life in this galaxy. Ultimately, we could say that rays originate and end in such an orb. And we will just decide now to turn our back on it and go to one arm, like one kind of tunnel of light with many stars, and we like extremely extraordinarily rapid spaceship. We go inside it, we travel. And at a certain moment, a tiny system attracts our attention. There is a rather small yellowish sun, and we go towards it. It's the solar system. And as we approach it, we can discern various planets and moons around them. And we go to the blue orb, the Earth. And as we descend, we arrive right on top of a being. This being is threefold. It has a core around which no word can really match what it is. But it has a distinctive sun, a ball of light, which we can call the soul, Purusha, or whatever. At one specific moment, this soul has decided to land in a body that we are in 3D right now. And we will try to feel into what kind of choice and what kind of purpose it has, and especially how it will use specific rays and combination of rays to facilitate its unfoldment, its manifestation. So I just leave you with this inquiry about what's the purpose of this soul. Why did she choose such a combination of rays to make up our personality? Slowly, I will invite you to land back and come back to the screen. And I mentioned a choice, and of course, choice won't go without any karma. So, karma in the sense also of consequence. And our personality is a construct, is built upon many things, including who is around since we're born, who are our parents, what, in which culture, in which nation, many things, in fact. And that would be the first inquiry. So we will go in a few minutes into breakout room so we can share about it. And my question for you will be right now, can you identify quite clearly when you think about your past, your early years, your childhood, your teenagehood, of some major influences around you? People who raised you, major figures at school or whatever. And can you, behind that, can you identify the present, the distinctive presence of a ray as you know them? Just give a go. Don't hold back, doesn't have to be 100% sure, but do you feel a taste of specific rays, colors in your childhood, in your teenagehood? That would be the first inquiry, and I will send you, thanks to the gods of Zoom, into random breakout rooms. But before that, are there any questions about the clarity of the question, or is it okay?
Do you want us to focus on the rays that were like created in us, or of the rays of people around us?
No, first, maybe what was around you prior to going inwards? What kind of qualities and colors were around you? What can you identify in your all the people that were really influential? Is there any other question, or do we proceed?
Hi, sorry, Olivier. I think you might have seen my message on the chat. I'm at work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'd love to keep the discourse on in the background if that's okay. But I don't want to be disruptive in the breakout rooms, so I'd rather not participate. Is that okay?
All right. I keep you with me, and we'll have we'll have 3, 4 breakout rooms. One will be of 3 and the other of 2. So just to let
Thank you,
people...
everyone. Sorry to be disruptive.
No worry. All right. So let us go. See you on the other side. Welcome back, everyone. No, not everyone is back. So, is there anything willing to be shared? Did this exercise bring something about realization of, yeah, indeed, I can understand why this is there, this is not there? Is there something to be shared?
For me, it was interesting to realize that my father is probably a Ray 1 personality, and I have some Ray 1 too. So it was like always conflict and fighting because we had our own thoughts on different things and it didn't fit together. And with my mother, she's probably a 6th Ray personality, and I couldn't feel her. It was like she was on a different kind of frequency to me, and I can feel is that I don't resonate with Ray 6. So I think it was like that. Like with my father, it was this because we were somehow similar, and with my mother, it was more distanced because I just didn't get her. So it's nice to see how it is also reflects in the rays. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think part are still in the breakout rooms.
Yeah, I just did something just to give ask them to come back or bring them back one way or another. Here they are. Okay, we still have a room with 2 people still hanging on. We had beautiful sharing from Victoria. I don't know if you want me to synthesize it in a few words or if you would to do it yourself, or yeah. So sharing that she now feels that she had a first Ray personality father, and she understands now the kind of conflictual with her first Ray personality, and feeling also the lack of resonance and the lack of attunement with the 6th Ray personality of our mother. Did I? Yeah. So is there anything alive? The inquiry was, did something pop up, like you realize maybe, yes, now I understand why I have such an attunement or such a repulsion for this ray or something?
like I can share, actually, it was very difficult for me to identify the race what my father and mother would be, and like beyond what were the like the shadows or karmas on their masculine and feminine side, and some of those. But then taking it beyond that, for example, to like noticing like that, like, because Taki is first ray personality and I have first ray in me, so it's just so easy to like that when we communicate, it's like almost like machine guides, and then we are completed. And it's in a way the first ray comes from my mother, so it's very easy to communicate here with her, and in one way it feels very good. And then my second ray soul would always like feel that, okay, this was too quick, that I would want some more connection, because it's so quick that it always goes fast. So there's like this other part of me would want it. But then if there's a second ray personality who wants to like somehow keep the connection up, it's my first ray comes like, this takes too long. So it's easy, funny to see this combination going on, that there's this the different parts of me like want something and reject something. So seeing that play ongoing.
Thank you. Is there anything else willing to be shared? Marie, are you trying to unmute yourself? I can see a finger.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to find out where it is. Yes, I could also share that it was funny to notice that I might have the same personality ray with my mother. I think that my personality is probably fourth ray, and I have always had very dramatic fights with my mother, and we haven't really gotten along. In a way we do. There's like, we like many similar kinds of things, and we have had many similar kinds of hobbies, but still we have had huge fights over nothing, basically. Like no big deals, but we have fought a lot, and I think it's the drama thing in both of us, maybe. And yeah, so many similarities, and I think that might explain why we have clashed. Too much similarity.
Nice. Thank you. For now, it has been quite a lot of dissonance between similar race in the childhood and teenagehood. Was there someone bringing another flavor or more complementary, identical race in influential figures? All right. So, like I said in the beginning, this is really an exploration. We are here really to reveal how the rays feel to us. And I even feel, this is personal, but I even feel that we're on a period of time which is quite peculiar on the planet, and that somehow also the century-old presentation of the rays has also to be respected, but also like feeling like it's open source also, that it can reveal higher octave and different flavors on the way. So I now invite in-depth look into the personality. The personality could be looked a little bit as a microcosm of the threefold being we are as monad, soul, personality. Personality itself could be divided in three parts, which operate together and are quite seamless, but often for the best or the worst, some singularity appears, right? So we have, of course, the body, which is there, both in its physical and etherical form. It has its rays. It's his ray, not rays. There is the astral emotional body, depending on the terminology, which also has a ray. And of course, there is the manasic unit, the mental unit, the mind, which has a ray. If we look at this small constellation, we can find that there is this astral position in the center. And the teaching tend to point that somehow the emotion is quite potent and can somehow lead the personality, or can be a good clue of our personality ray. It's funny to look at the other level, the soul, with the Buddhic plane being in as in the position of the center. And if we look at the monadic level, the monadic plane, of course, is in the center. And we have the 2, 4, 6 plane, which is a kind of nice waterfall. And there is this kind of, yeah, somehow the astral is a little bit like the Buddhic plane of the personality. And it is a vehicle for impression, intuition. So it's very peculiar plane. So the next exploration would be, how do you feel rays express not only as your personality, because I imagine most of you as at least a hint of what your personality ray should be, but can you try to identify rays for your mind, for your emotional body, for your physical body? This can be a bit tough, so I will just take the example I know best, which is me, and try to give the description for myself, and let's ourselves explore in breakout rooms in a few minutes. So for example, for me, I can remember this teacher at the beginning of middle school. He came, look at what I was taking notes, and say, took my book and he shows, huge pride, wow, look, this is the way you should. And I could not just write down sentences. I could not. Everything I received, I put all the time as mind maps. Before I knew it was mind map or heuristic map or whatever. Mind map, mind map, mind map. And I could not think about one thing without applying another thing. It was like nothing as taken by the mind, as held by the mind, is by itself. It's always part of a network. Quite obviously, and working towards permaculture and design and interdependence and Buddhism, and working on myself, it became more obvious and obvious and obvious that this is a third way mind, for example. But some people will have really in depth and can just, oh, this I can go in depth and like a driller go towards the essence of this concept, of this notion of anything in the world. Would be more like be the level like of the 7th ray, of the 5th ray, sorry. So you can have few examples here about the mind. The astral, this is my personality ray, is the 4th. So I began my life as a musician, and I tend to really have this ability to create an atmosphere of harmony. I tend to, whether it is a permaculture design, a drawing, a musical piece, or whatever, tend really to go towards creating beauty, not out of an intellectual conception, but really as, you know, a will for impression and an outcome of the feeling, of the sensation of the astral. But earlier in my life, I would also be quite indecisive, and yeah, the interplay between the extremes would make me find difficult to be in the center for some time. And finally, about the body, so I'm right now on the mountain, which I climbed by running, without any lunch or something. So that's typical, the kind of self-reliant body, quite energetic and quite nervous for some time that you can have on a first ray body. It is said in the teaching that most of us could be on the third ray type, which is quite fit, and most athletes also are on the third ray type. And yeah, what to say? I will try not to give too many boxes and too many projection, but if you were to apply what you know of the rays and what you know of your personality, try to identify, if you can, what could be the ray for your mind, what could be the ray for your emotional body, and what could be the ray for your body. One last clue, as I did for myself, for example, for the astral, could be also to go on which part we feel are assets. And okay, yeah, for sure, I can express with my feelings so much love or so much devotion, or okay, or I feel so aroused by a beautiful ritual or something. Okay, that's a clue. Or by, like, I don't like the word weakness, but when we are triggered, when we feel less in balance or uncentered, where is it? Is it the mind that has difficulty to get rid of its nest? Is it something else? So going towards that can help you maybe identify more precisely, and it's another lens to inquire. Is the second part quite clear for anyone, or other questions? It is cool. Okay, let's see. So apologies for who will be with me, as I am to send some messages, etc. But let's see who will be with me this time. Two more people to come and we'll be reunited. Welcome back, everyone. Well, is there anything willing to be shared about your findings or not findings, or thing that came during the breakout rooms and your feeling into your free fall, the personality?
I can share. I think it was quite difficult overall, but so the ones that I know that overall I'm like fourth ray personality. Then I know also that I have these like almost like gifts of sixth ray personality, like to inspire, like that I can inspire others to do a lot. That's what I've done to build organizations and events and so on. And that feels like almost like that feels the sixth ray part. But then there's no like devotion is not like really a play. So then you think, is that like emotional body thing? Possibly. But then maybe on the like then on my body I can feel that could be like seventh ray, because I feel that my body wants touch, and it wants to move, and it wants to be really like that. It wants to be like really close to the earth. And then and when I listen to it, so it's quite different than when I'm in this like the whole personality sphere, which is very different from this like seventh ray, which is going to touch and going to, and it likes food, it likes sex, it likes touch, dancing, and everything. And that's there it's again quite different from that. Yeah, so there's a big difference between the fourth ray and then the fourth ray personality and the body part. So yeah, I can feel that there's a big difference.
Thank you.
I would like to add something to this, because I was saying that I'm really not sure where exactly my personality ray lies, but I can feel where the three parts of the body, mind, and emotional level are. And I was thinking that the personality manifests itself through a life, and if it doesn't have time to manifest before the soul kind of gets activated and connected too. So maybe the soul is something that is more active than the personality, when the personality isn't so present, because I'm not sure where exactly the personality lies on the ray, but I'm pretty sure that my soul is ray 2, and I'm thinking like I feel more on this ray 2 than somehow where my personality lies. It's interesting to see this. Yes.
Right. And this brings me to some kind of important nuance in all this. The rays we experience as in our system can come from where our personality, our soul, our monad, or a part of our personality is, but they also can come, for example, from our birth charts, our sun or rising also are pouring in some ray energy. So for example, my second ray soul has expressed quite early in life with full of love, but there was this kind of relentless presence of the first ray, which explained, for example, I'm a Leo sun and a Capricorn rising. And so these are two constellations that bring forth a lot of first ray. So it's a mixture. It's also about the people who hang together, because I really feel that the ray complement themselves, and we can really appropriate one thing from in group formation, in partnership, in whatever. So that will be the third workshop main focus. So yeah, it's a whole exploration, then defining that it is definitely our expression on the soul or monad or whatever. There is something I didn't mention before, so I think the moment is now cool for it. Instead of a longer exploration in music, I will put quite a short one, which will be used for you if you want to stretch, to dance. It will be like, yeah, an occasion to reland and to shake a little bit. It can be an occasion of, if possible, if you have with you something to write on. Could be a notebook, could be a stone to carve or whatever. Okay, sure. And thank you. And because we are getting into kind of more technique parts right after the music. So we will have 3 minutes that you can use to take a break for any need. Please, if you don't have nearby, take a notebook for the next round. And if not, just enjoy the music and dance. See you soon.
We are underestimating the importance of the soul and spirit as the whole key to everything that is on this planet. importance of the soul and spirit as the whole key to everything.
If you guys hear me, inviting you back on the call. Hey, Kayla. Sorry, I've been traveling quite a lot these few hours and could not answer your message, but I read it and I hope we finally get to be in touch. And sorry again for Monday. All right, so we began by really stating that the soul, in the extent of its own karma, had chosen specific circumstances to carry out its own purpose. Right? If our threefold system of monadic, soul, and personality is one expression, which is really trendy at the time with a lot of transmission around the fourth quality. This fourth quality trying to express itself, choosing specific tools. The soul chooses circumstances to carry out something that is not only for and from this life. And the inquiry for now is, why on earth did she or it or choose this specific combination? And what relation is there between this combination of rays we just spoke about in the threefold personality and the soul purpose? So there is an obvious question for now, and Maria, I will have to see you or just write the answer. If not, the question is anyone here at least a little clear with a kind of soul purpose? Because there are two ways, and I'm prepared for both. Either anyone feels into like, I need more, I need to bite more into my soul purpose, and there is something we can do together to go towards that. Maybe part of you is clear with its soul purpose, part of you is not, and in which case we'll have two different breakouts, and in the end we will reach out together around the same exercise. Or everyone is perfectly fine, and we with its own purpose, and we go directly with the technique part. So please raise your hand if you feel you have good reasonable clarity about your soul purpose. Okay, in which case I will make two breakout rooms, and I will have the people who raise the hand together. So if I'm not mistaken, it's Yako, Kaya, Maria. You will be together with the technique. I will, everyone will try, and it's inspired from permaculture. In permaculture, we tend to understand the relationship between elements because we kind of understand for each element what does it need to be in perfect condition of expressing itself, and on another part, what is its outcome. For example, my fourth ray personality and fourth ray emotional body needs calm, but quite deep, and a kind of dense calm and a sense of purpose, to be really active, to bring on something. And what it will bring on will be beauty in form, beauty in words, beauty in design, etc. A first ray need will be some kind of condition, for example, for adventure, a kind of project, a kind of mission or goal. It will be a nice condition for it to express. And its outcome will be putting more life in the group, having a sense of cohesion, leadership. So is it kind of clear or not that much? Tell me honestly.
So you're asking what would be the condition for the sole purpose regarding the personality, or?
Prior to that, the idea will be to take your notebook and to write a T, or even 3 T's, saying, for example, this is my third ray mind. I don't know if you see it clearly or not. What does it need to express correctly? For me, it needs stillness. For my third ray mind to really express, I need a silent room and condition for study, and then it can express. Which is nice, because my fourth ray emotional body has the ability to create harmony. And what is nice also is that my first ray body doesn't that much need to eat or drink or something. That means when I need really to focus on something, the three works well together. I go fasting, I create an harmonious space for myself, and then the machine goes and I can give a design, give a new course or whatever, and receive, be impressed, etc. So this is how together they have a kind of mutual synergetic expression. Are there questions, comments, or whatever? Or it's the most technical part. We are now on the edge of the mountain, but I really would love to give a practical tool to feel more about the dynamic of our race in the personality. So especially Jaco, Maria, Kaya, do you feel you can, for the next minutes, the time I go with the small practical thing about the soul purpose with the other people, do you think you can draw these T's and get into, okay, what does my personality as a whole, if you don't want to get into detail, or if possible, what does my mental unit, astral unit, body needs to be to express its best, and what is its outcome, what does it bring? And try to, when you have those, try to see what relates. Yeah, cool. So I create the room just for you. Okay. All right. So we have 3 people living to an adventure about esoteric permaculture, if that exists. And we will have a meditation which I hope will bring some results about soul purpose. Maybe you know a little bit about Yoga Nidra. Speaks to you a little bit or not? I will make a mixture between something John transmitted and Yoga Nidra. So, inviting you to close your eyes. And imagine you're walking towards a mountain, and then suddenly appears a rainbow in front of you. Not the one like in the rain where you feel you can endlessly walk and never touch it, but this one, it really seems you can cross it. And indeed you reach it and you enter it. And then you're surrounded by the color red. Feel red, see red, experience red. After a while and some steps, you step into the orange. Everything is orange. Eventually, you begin to see that the orange is fading towards some brighter color, and you arrive within the yellow. All you see is yellow. All you hear is the sound of yellow. And you walk through yellow. And you arrive. And you discern the green and step into it. And everything is lush green, electric green. Begin to feel that the darker tone is there. You arrive at a turquoise border to end up in blue. Electric, bold, beautiful blue. Blue now turns into indigo. You're surrounded by it. But eventually arrive at the end of the indigo to walk through the purple. It's violet everywhere. Magnificent, noble, majestuous purple. And whoa, you're out of the rainbow, and you see that in fact during this walk in the rainbow you climbed almost all the mountain. You arrive at the top. And at the top there is a beautiful peak, tiny peak, like a rock. And there is a cave in it. You're fucking sure you have to enter. Don't know why, but you enter. You make some steps until it's completely dark. And then step into something you touch. It seems to be kind of chair. So you just sit and you breathe into this atmosphere of mystery. But soon enough, there is something telling you there is someone in the cave. And as your eyes get accustomed to the dark, you can begin to see there is someone sitting on a chair in front of you, like 1-2 meters away from you. The more your eyes are able to see, the more you recognize this guy. It is you, but after lifetimes of evolution. It is the perfected soul, perfectly landed soul. What would you like to ask? What would you like to know? Is there any flavor? Any note of purpose there? Progressively you feel complete with this transmission and prepare yourself for re-emerging, standing up from the chair and leaving the cave with all the gifts. Welcoming you back. Is there anything waiting to be shared? Did you get something interesting?
I found it nice to see what colors resonated in the rainbow. I had a really amazing feeling with red and with purple, but also with green. And at the same time, I had this feeling that the two colors, the red and the purple, being at both ends of the spectrum, it was like absorbing the rainbow and it all being just like one color. That was amazing. And then I didn't have to really ask anything, the person in front of me. And it's just said, leading people to the truth. And it's on some level something I have already knew. And it's like the truth is not like one truth, it's like people to the truth that they hold as truth. It's like their truth. And yes, and it's kind of resonates with all the things that I am noticing about me now and some of the things that I have know from past life. It's always about people just realizing and learning themselves and knowing and how do you call this, unlearning all that they have learned in this life and coming back to that what is within them, sometimes still sleeping.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much. Kat, Kyla, do you have any willing to share anything, or there's no need to? It's just if you want.
Yeah, I'm apparently, but I already knew that before, not supposed to know anything specific about my purpose. Most probably because I have a conditioned view about what my soul purpose should be in regards to earning money or doing something extraordinarily important. And I'm at the moment in a really, really like kind of life situation where old things have been deconstructed in a very painful way, and I'm kind of in a 0 point of energy, and I'm having just very, very intense physical crisis, chronic pains, also connected to not having any income. So I don't know how to pay my bills at the moment. Everything is just crumbling away, and it's really, really frightening. And my purpose at the moment is being comfortable with not knowing, because that makes me very uncomfortable. I honestly don't know how to survive the next month. I don't know what to do with my life, but the answer that I got from my evolved soul was, at the moment that I'm supposed to uplift my heart and to stay open to new opportunities that seem to be impossible in the past, or even now seem to be impossible. Something like be open for miracles, because they're gonna happen if you stay in this trust and if you stay open. Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I find myself in quite a similar situation like Kat.
Thank you.
I think there's a bit of a delay. Yeah, anyways, there was there was just one message that came through. There was keep going, and I mean, I received it both with a yes, okay, I know and I trust, but also with some frustration of like kind of wanting more access to my soul or my intuition at the moment that I don't feel it's there anymore. And yeah, just feeling confused around that.
Sorry, Kayla, I had a little break in the connection. I couldn't hear the end, so I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I don't know where you lost me, but I basically just shared that I feel I'm in a very similar position like Kat at the moment. And the only thing that really came through in the meditation was keep going. And I received it both with a like deep level of trust, but also with a level of frustration of like wanting like a deeper connection to my intuition or soul that I don't feel at the moment. So I'm just sitting with that frustration and also brought up some grief. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so what I would suggest now would be that if Kat, Kayla, and Victoria, if you would like, based on what you uncovered both from this exercise we made, even if it's not extremely precise, and what you uncovered from at least your personality and if possible the 3 layers of it, to try to do this exercise of what does the ray of my mind needs for proper expression, and what is its outcome, what does it brings, and same for the other, and trying to relate, to put this in relation to what you get from your soul purpose. And it could be interesting maybe to do this while muting your sounds, so that maybe with the other I can have a small sharing, but it could also maybe interesting for you to get inspired by it. So I leave you the choice of listening to it or just focusing on your work. Is that okay? Cool. And Yako, Kaya, Maria, what was the outcome of this T-tool? Did you manage to, did some connection appear between your soul purpose and the way your personality is arranged through rays?
So Jaakko puts his mics away, so it doesn't.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think I could find quite easily the things that my soul needs, or my soul that I can like fulfill my soul purpose. That what does my body and my mind have to do? And then it also made me kind of realize how at the same time how far I am in my I do the things that belong to my soul purpose, but in my working life my profession is very different at this moment. I am doing like completely different thing for a living than what is my soul purpose, and it kind of like made me think, it got me thinking about this dilemma. It's like I am not really in my soul purpose or fulfilling it fully, even though I'm doing a lot of things for it, and in my leisure time I'm very into my soul purpose. But I don't know, is that a contradiction? Should one be like full time fulfilling their soul purpose? What are your insights on this one?
Are there anyone willing to complement or give a feedback or go for its own findings? What I would tend to say in prolongation to what you shared is that the proper and seamless articulation of the threefold personality is a prerequisite to really unfold and manifest the soul purpose. And so it is already soul purpose in movement, in action. It's already one bit, one phase of this implementation. And yeah, what I could share from my perspective would be like always sharing from what I know best, which I feel is like this system, Olivier. And at one moment, really, it came clear. It was in a workshop with Taki, in a cross workshop with Taki, that the words themselves like came from the soul purpose. So I just quoting them. It's demonstrate love in action and reset mindsets towards interdependence. And it's a secondary soul, but I do feel that there is an intelligence in the overall design. For example, in this birth, bringing a lot of first ray, bringing this ability to stand, which maybe the secondary soul could be more lazy in the work. I don't know. It's bringing me a lot of ability to stand. The third remind, of course, about resetting mindset towards interdependence. It's basically how it works. So it's really finding in astronomy, in the teachings, in nature, in design, in permaculture, in whatever, all the ways to recalibrate the mind towards really putting in relation and breaking down the walls that separates the various area, not only of knowledge, of living experience, but about demonstrating beauty in action. The fourth thread as this quality, I feel also to bring this touch of there is a need, there is an urge to bring some kind of impression in the world. So it helps also with the third way to bring an outcome, to manifest something. And so it's the idea of love, yes, in action. How does it prove? So it was leaning me, for example, towards this kind of temple or permaculture garden or school or whatever. And the first three body is on the way, interacting with kids and templing and doing the permaculture, etc. It requires a lot of energy. It requires very few sleep and with the family life, etc. So I revere the choice of first three body, because I don't know if it was not so self-reliant and so yeah, really soft on its needs in terms of sleep and food, etc. If I could do it, I wouldn't have time. So I found that really choosing the surroundings, also in terms of my parents, which are really extreme from one another. So it was really like the fourth row was imposed to me. I had to match and to catch up with the two hands. It really brought some nice ability to fulfill the soul purpose. So this is how I tend to look towards the race as really opportunity to complement themselves, get into synergy, and to enable something else to be implemented, to birth, to be created, which is the kind of will coming from the level just above. So when we will be speaking about other layers next week, it will also come, this idea. So are there any sharings other than Maria about and mine about how this blend of rays in the personality and the soul purpose synergize, or if there appears to be some kind of resistances or other things? Please share them too.
Yeah, I could also share. So I also got the soul purpose on Taki's cross workshop. So it seems to be very good for soul purpose, and it is to integrate both light and dark light onto this earth. And I feel that because my soul is secondary, that's the light, and then my model is first ray, and that's the dark light, and both of them are like boom, hitting the earth and integrating it here. And basically, together with Maria, we have bought this mansion we are living now in. We just moved in here, and we are opening this as a center where there can be, whether it's Taki workshops or whatever workshops, and that is to really integrate light and dark light over here. And it was an interesting question, because I do see, or actually somehow I feel that there's probably this personality parts are exactly right for it. I feel that they are. I don't see the full connection. I think it's the body, the 7 traits. That's about the embodiment of this work into here, and also like integrating the soul somehow fully, something like that. And then there's the 4th ray part is really like, and there's also the beauty and the harmony in between, and that's somehow also like letting the love somehow flow and shine. That's the light part. And then probably the 6th ray is something about the inspiration. And I don't have the full picture, but it's actually a very good question, and I do feel that there are some answers waiting to be like unveiled. So thank you.
Thank you. It's really nice to bring the dark and light archetypes in there, and for example, making the parallel between the 7th ray you spoke about and the dark archetype, which dark, of course, is embedded in matter, and the 7th ray is much about it. So
yeah,
nice connection.
Thank you.
I would like to say something, because what Jaakko said just resonated with me. We did a meditation, and what came out for me was like leading people to the truth, and the truth is like their own truth. And in my personality, I have this feeling that because of all of the 3 things, it's just on the many levels in which that could work. It's like for the 7th ray, this could be like, I'm all into sexuality and embodiment and rituals. So it's like leading people to this, to uncover all of the things for body work and for sexuality. And then on the mental level, I love to write texts, and I put like all my 7th ray knowledge and 2nd ray wisdom and love into that. So I know this is just, it works through all of these different rays, and it's just yes, it just goes through, like the soul does its work on all the different levels. It's, yes, it's amazing. And to what Maria said, I've noticed for me that I used to study medicine and that didn't work. It's like I have this feeling that when we do something that isn't meant for us, it just loses the happiness after some time, if it's not like something that we are meant to do, like the soul purpose, because I was just losing myself in this because it wasn't what I was meant to do. And right now, maybe I am not fulfilling it fully, but I'm doing the steps towards it. And that is what it makes the happiness come, like this kind of fulfillment. And yes. Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you. just to tell you that we are really close to ending. I would love to end on a small visualization of it's maybe just an inquiry to take on with us as a takeaway, because we will begin next week with on the same page, you will see. But before that, there is still room for 1-2 shares if anyone is willing to. All right. I for the after after party, just be sure, like, you can send me a message on my Facebook. You can also write down in the discussion on the event if you have any further sharings or inquiries, or after a while, because I think it's roughly just beginning the work what we did today. It's opening to a view of the ray and their interaction that will hopefully give fruits tomorrow, next month, in 3 years, whatever. So if there's things still pending, it's normal. But also, if you want to get back to me, ask a question, or get back to the group and give a sharing or something, please do either post on the event or come to me directly. I'm right now just indicating my email address, as I said earlier in the call, gmail.com. And this inquiry, or this enlargement, I would love to offer you as a departure gift, would be to unzoom. We begin by zooming from galaxy to Earth and our soul, and try to guess a little bit more about her purpose, and especially how it could use the rays to fulfill it. And now, unzooming to the size of planet Earth, which is in a really peculiar situation of initiation. And in this incarnation, it is said to be a third ray personality. It is a second ray soul. It is a first ray monad. We will start with this on the next week, understanding, like, trying to grab a picture of the planetary purpose, thanks to these 3 rays, which for me are really extremely peculiar, important, and really, that's what I feel, well chosen or fit the task. But as we were into the rays and personality today, I would love us to just take a moment, a silent drop in, to feel about the third ray personality, humanity. And like we did for our rays, what do we feel are the good conditions for it to express its beauty, to fuse with the soul purpose, which means to reintegrate, to integrate with the world soul? And if something come about it, do we feel there are lines of lesser or larger resistance on the way? This is an invitation to feel into humanity as a group, as a center in the planetary system, but also through the lens of a ray, the third. Thank you. Inviting huge blessings and prayers for all that is changing in the third ray personality of the planet and ourselves to be carried on as best as possible. And thanking you so much for your presence and your dedication and all that appeared in the workshop. And yeah, please don't hesitate to leave any comments or feedback or whatever. I do love to learn, so please feel free to get back to me. And if anyone has something burning to be shared, it is now or never, like Elvis would sing.
Quick final share. While we were talking about soul purpose, a piece of our soul purpose just right on the mail to make this place ready. So that was very funny coincidence.
All right. Sending you much love and see you soon.